hi, Vamshi.
So
Welcome.
me and Ranjani are from the same tech. So basically we are
Okay.
we are working on the tabular development. So we have a background of data side, meaning SQL side as well. Apart
Okay.
from
Okay.
that, like we have a little exposure on Power BI side. So mostly thing is we are looking to shift from these stack to the data engineering stack. Okay. And in our
Great.
current
Great.
company, we are been involved in the projects like where we are doing migration of SQL, SSIS packages, all these data flow projects to big data using Hadoop. Meaning we are only maintaining Spark clusters and all. So using that, they are migrating
Mm-hmm.
internally. There is no cloud using applicable here.
I
Only
got
internal
it.
cluster. Yeah, you got it right. So IDB
Yes,
we are using as our data warehouse. Correct.
on-prem cluster is there, right?
Correct.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. And overall, how much experience do you hold?
So we are of 5+ years of experience, but into data engineering side we are very fresh, meaning 2 months.
Okay. 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 And this overall 5 years of experience is in this analytics only, right? What
Correct.
you have.
Analytics only. SQL, Cube plus Visual Tabular.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. So let me start. First of all, let me share my screen. And before that, let me give my intro also. So I overall have 10 plus years of experience, okay, in IT. So
Mm-hmm.
around 12 years of experience and around 9 to 10 I am into data engineering part, okay.
Yeah.
And if I talk about trainings, okay, so I have already done trainings on MongoDB, that is NoSQL database, then Hadoop, okay, and Spark. All this training I have already done, okay.
Okay.
And if I talk about my experience on cloud, I did work on Azure AWS, and from last 5 years I am working on GCP cloud. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any concern on like why you so because there are multiple clouds, right? And
Yeah,
top
yeah.
three are AWS, Azure, and GCP, right?
Correct. The first question from me is, let's say like today also I have searched again. Like if I go to
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn and search for the jobs on data engineering side, most of the bulkly I am seeing on Azure stack.
Correct, correct.
And
So
GCP here and there I am seeing, and post that AWS is also there, but Azure is the
correct.
bulkly I'm seeing. Okay, yeah, yeah, continue.
Yes, yes. So if I talk about how much like consumption of this cloud, okay, so top
Mm-hmm.
is always that there is AWS, okay. But the problem with AWS, okay, as a fresher, you wanted to move to cloud and data engineer, and you wanted to learn that. So problem with AWS is even with Azure is there are a lot of resources available in market. When I say resources available, let's suppose company is having one opening, okay,
Mm-hmm.
there are 10 data engineers available in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of competition in the market from if you talk from the competition perspective, okay, that is one thing, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Another part, if I talk about technologies, okay, if you go with so AWS anyways, it is a good, right, it is a leader in the market. It
Mm-hmm.
have some drawbacks, I'll come to that. But if we talk about Azure, okay, so when you are saying Azure, okay, on the data engineering front, so Microsoft does not have any data warehouse. They don't own any data warehouse. Okay, it has its own data warehouse called Synapse. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but if you research about that, okay, it is not that much good. Okay, people are complaining here and there, and I have seen companies like who have adopted the Azure cloud and who started working on Synops and Fabrics, and then they are tired of that, right? Because eventually they are not getting what they want, right? It is not giving that much performance. So eventually what people are doing, they end up with using Azure with using some other data warehouse, right? So if you know about Snowflake and Databricks, correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So people who are working with Azure, okay, they end up with learning multiple technologies. Anyway, if you are in data engineering, you have to learn multiple things. But again, you have to work on different stacks, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Databricks is again altogether different game. Then Snowflake is altogether different game, right? So from data warehouse point of view, okay, BigQuery and Bigtable. These are the giants. Okay, and Google. It is owned and created by Google only, and it is in today's date comparatively with AWS, Redshift, and Azure Synapse. Okay, it is the leader. Okay, even Databricks is fine, Snowflake is fine, right? But BigQuery is outstanding again, right? As compared to cloud databases or data warehouses. And there are other technologies, okay, which is owned by GCP itself. So if you talk from the DevOps point of view, okay, if you know about the Docker, Kubernetes, right? These all are the technologies which is invented by Google itself, right? So directly as a data engineer, we are not using that. But point is, when we use serverless things, right, like BigQuery, at the back end, this technology is being used, correct? So in that manner, it is a fast, and whatever latest versions or latest stacks it is coming, right, in form of DevOps, it is owned by Google. So they are the one who is like leveraging that first, correct?
Okay.
And the major point is like there is a less competition again, there are less openings, and there are, so now people are shifting to Google. Okay, that is very fair point, because as I told you, like in Azure, the people are facing some issues. Okay, so either they are moving to AWS or Google Cloud. That is the thing, frankly speaking. And
Okay.
another, as I told you, there is no competition or less competition in the market as compared to other things. Okay,
Okay.
so far this is good, right? You wanted to ask anything on this front? Huh?
So on this, like apart from competitive, how to put this? So we are mainly targeting on the competition side with the GCP, correct? Other than this, the stack
That
here.
is, yes, that is correct. And again, like from stack point of view, if you ask me, okay, Google BigQuery is the master. Okay, eventually, I feel like in next 5 to 10 years, okay, people will or many companies will shifting to GCP. That is
Oh,
the thing. Even Redshift is there. Okay, either they will move to GCP and BigQuery, or they may choose another option, which is Snowflake, if you have heard about, or Databricks, right? But again, the point is, even if you are using Snowflake or Databricks, you eventually have to learn all the data engineering things, right? So if
mm,
you talk about Databricks, right, you have to learn Spark, right? You
mm,
have to learn Python. You have to learn uh, shell scripting, SQL, right? So
right.
let me go through this content so that you will get to know like what I wanted to explain.
Okay.
I'm sharing my screen, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, it is visible.
It is visible, right? So what the thing is, in this particular course, okay, this is again built for data engineers. Okay, so whether you are new to data engineering or you already have exposure, how we have designed the course is like we have start with very basics. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so when we say basics, we are starting with the data and big data initially, right? So here, if you see Hadoop architecture, ecosystem, and what are the different components inside Hadoop, and why Hadoop is there, right? What is distributed processing? All these points we will be covering here, so that you will get to know like why there is a need of big data and distributed processing. What is horizontal scaling? Why so vertical scaling? Why horizontal scaling is needed, right? All these things we will be covering here in the basics. Otherwise, you will not get to know like why data engineering is there, correct?
Okay.
So we will be covering with very basics, whether you know these things already or not. Okay, if you don't know, we will be covering. If you know, it will be your revision, right? Again,
Mm,
on the second module, we will be starting with Linux commands. Okay, there are basic Linux commands. We will not do anything advanced, but the Linux command, like how to change the directory, how to create files, right, in Black Window, or
mm.
how to change the permissions, how to move the files, and all these things, right? And we will be seeing what is RDBMS and few of the SQL commands. Again, here we will not do practical things. I'll just explain you the things, okay, on SQL front. If you know this is good. If you don't know, we will be covering that. Again, in third module, we will be starting with data engineering concepts. Okay, so what is OLTP, OLAP, data warehouse? What is ETL, ELT, SQL, NoSQL? What is Hive? So as you are already working on on-prem, so you must be knowing Hive, internal table, what are different file formats, right? All these things we will be covering. And
Okay.
once these basics things are done, we will be starting with GCP, right? So here we will be again covering what is cloud computing, right? Then GCP cloud platform, what are the data engineering services we will be covering from the perspective of data engineering, right, in GCP.
Mm-hmm.
So, and gradually we will be starting with Google Cloud Storage. This is the very easiest service, okay? Even if you choose for Azure or AWS, okay, you have to learn this, okay? Storage services. So we will be starting with GCS, how to do multiple operations in GCS, how to upload the data, how to download the data, how to move the data, right? And what is object storage, why object storage is there, then what is GS util, different commands, right? Just I
Mm-hmm.
told you, like to move the data or upload the data or download the data. Then what are the other things? So life cycle management, what is versioning on that, how to enable disable versionings, right? What is free sign URL? Yes, and why GCS is important from the point of view of data warehouse and data lake, right? Where it is fitting in this data lake architecture. So we will be seeing that. Again, here we will be starting with BigQuery. Okay, so this will be the very important stage. Okay, so we will be covering all the things in the BigQuery. So BigQuery UI, we will be doing how BigQuery works, that architecture, data set, internal, external table. We will be doing standard SQLs, right? Loading data, creating table, creating partition table, what is partitioning, what is clustering, everything we will be seeing, right? How to optimize the query, how to optimize the host, right? And we will be seeing something on metadata front as well, and some complex SQL by using joins and rank and so on. Okay, so these are again related to data warehouse, one of the sites. So how to play with data, this part covers that. Another part, there are other another advanced features. Okay, again this is in context with data warehouse. Okay, this is not exactly with data but data warehousing concepts. Okay, how to create view, how to leverage materialize view, how to clone table, what is snapshot, what is time travel. So all these things, what is nested data, how complex data looks like, right? Public data, what public data is available, how to use public data for free, right? What is sharded table, right? How to share the data by creating view, how to authorize the view, right? All these things we will be covering in practical. Then if you heard about data engineering, nowadays everyone is using Airflow, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have heard about, but if you are working as a data engineer, most of the company in today's world they are using Airflow for data pipeline orchestration. So we will be covering what is there, what is Airflow, what is cloud composer. Okay, this is associated service in the GCS bucket, GCP cloud. So we will be covering that. And in Airflow there is concept called Airflow operators. Okay, and there are hundred or thousands of operators available. But we will be doing practical with the some operator. So some common operators like bash operator, dummy operator, so or Python operator. These are the day-to-day operators. Okay,
Okay.
and most of the operators we will be doing in context with GCP cloud. Okay, so let's suppose we are working with GCS bucket or BigQuery, we will be using that operators. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so how this operator works is like if you are working with Databricks, there are separate Databricks operators. Working with SQL, there are different SQL operators. If you are working with Snowflake, there are numbers of Snowflake operators, right? And so on. So we will be covering all the things. What is operator? Where to use which operator? What are the different types of operator? But again, it is not possible to cover all the operators, right? The
No.
intention is to learn how to use different operators and how to find different operators, right? Because most of the operator are similar. This is just a matter of different technology. But suppose
Mhm.
I want to create table in BigQuery, so there is operator called BigQuery create table operator, right? Similarly, if I want to create table in Snowflake, so there is operator called Snowflake create table operator, right? So both the things will be doing same, but there is a main difference, right? And there are again so many things in Airflow. Okay, these technologies are vast. We cannot cover each and everything, but I will try to handle scenario where we you will get to know like how practical things can happen.
Okay.
Again, same goes with Dataproc. So Dataproc is nothing but Hadoop and Spark on GCP. Okay, so here we will not be working with Hadoop, okay? Because Hadoop, you already know, right? No one is using Hadoop, and even there are legacy systems. They are planning to move to cloud or some other technology, right? Like Spark or Databricks.
Hmm.
So we will be not covering doing anything with Hadoop, but yes, we will be learning Spark. What is Spark? What are different concepts in Spark, right? So you have already worked on Spark, so you know, right? Data frame is there,
No,
how
no, no, no.
Spark works, what is
Like
the architecture.
we have meaning we have started recently only. Like we are at to in like do
Okay,
the things in the thing. We are at learning phase only.
okay, okay. So anyway, I'll be covering all these things like what is the architecture of Spark, how
Mm.
Spark is fast, right? Then Hadoop, why it is invented, correct? And
Okay.
how that everything internally works, right? There is a concept of RDD, data frame, transformation actions. Again, in transformation, there are narrow transformation, broad transformations, right? Wide transformation.
Yeah.
Then there is a shared variables. Then how to do the Spark submit? What are the different type of Spark submit, right? And eventually, we will be once we learn all these things. Okay. Again, one more thing. Okay, Spark and Python itself, it is very vast. Okay, so don't assume that you will be learning by just doing this session or probably in few days, right? It will take months to learn Spark only, right? But intention here is to give you background on data engineering, how Spark is crucial in data engineering part, and how we can work Spark or integrate Apache Spark with Dataproc or GCP. That is the main scenario. However, I will be covering okay all these things, how Spark works, what are the different terminologies or concepts in Spark. Okay, even in practical, we will be seeing all these things, right? But
Okay.
again, Spark itself, it is very vast, right? So I'll be sending you the what we say cookbook. Okay, so there is a lot of reading to be master in Spark Pro. Okay, and again, once you will learn Spark Airflow, okay, it is just a matter of different cloud. These things are like here it is called as Dataproc. Okay, the same code if you put into Databricks, it will become a Databricks. Okay, the same code you will put into AWS, it will become EMR cluster, right? Or probably AWS Glue, right? So that is just a matter of writing the code on different cloud, but underlying concepts, okay, all these concepts will remain same only. So if you
Okay.
know the concept, you can write code anywhere. That is the thing. Again, after these concepts, we will be moving to practical. We will be seeing end-to-end practical on data proc. Okay, so we will be like reading data from somewhere. We will write it to BigQuery. What are the different permission we need to give? Right? How to do the submit? What is uh, batch processing? So you, if you know the concept of serverless architecture, that is good. If not, I will be explaining you. Okay, what is
Okay.
serverless thing? So we will all these things here and performance tuning. What is partitioning, repartitioning policies? I'll explain you all these things. Okay. Then again on this front, streaming front again. So as a data engineering, you probably sometimes work on streaming processing. Okay, So that is altogether different game than Spark. So here there is different technology. So again, Spark can do streaming as well, okay? But as we wanted to cover different technologies, we will be doing streaming with Apache Beam, okay, on GCP Cloud. So when we say Apache Beam, it is Dataflow. I'll explain what is these terminologies and how these all things work. So whenever you will heard about streaming, right, there will be messaging system, right? So I'll explain you what is messaging system, what is cloud pops up, what is real time data ingestion, how to do that, what is NoSQL database. Again, some things will be repeating, okay, but the thing is, I'll repeat certain things because if you we have done this same thing in theory, okay, like initial point, if you see, right, it is not that much in detail. So here we will be covering in detail, and again, like, you will get the context, okay, because we will be doing practical over here, right? So PubSub practical, big table, cloud functions, then data flow, all this. Again, this practical will be lengthy. Okay, we will be configuring all these different technologies. So if you see cloud function, data flow, PubSub, big table, right? So all these 4 or 5 things will be integrating with each other, and that will become kind of POC, right? And on this data governance point of view, so like I would say, like, we will not cover much on data governance thing because altogether this is again different profile. This is not come under data engineering, okay? But as a data engineer, you should know the fewer concepts, okay? Again, this is not the data governance course, so we will just give you overview what are the different services, okay, data catalog and dataplex in BigQuery, or sorry, GCP, which you can leverage, okay, to govern your data or set some rules, right? Or working with metadata, like how your data is flowing, right, from one table to another table. So let's suppose you wanted to know, when you will be working as a data engineer, there will be thousands of tables, right? And in between there will be staging tables and that pipeline. But by looking at table, you wanted to know, right, where this data is coming from, rather than go and check in the code.
Mm.
Dataplex or BigQuery lineage, this will give you that lineage thing on the fly. Okay, we will be covering all the things. But again, there will be no practical on this. I'll just show you why this is important. Okay, and monitoring and logging and troubleshooting, all these things, okay, error handling, all these things, again, I have just added this, but we will be covering during the time of practical. So here and there we will be seeing error, we will be facing errors and everything. So I'll just, during the time of practical, I'll cover all these scenarios, okay, where to check logs and cloud monitoring, and in airflow also you can check the logs and all these things, okay. And yes, once we will completed with all these things, we will move to like a real world scenario, like how in actual live projects, how people are pulling data, what are the different sources, right, where they are doing batch processing, where they are doing stream processing, right. And yes, if you are interested in doing the certification, I'll just give you the path, okay, like how to like prepare for the GCP data engineering exam. Okay, and I'll give you some simple questions. Again, that is not created by me. I'll just give you the references where you can leverage that, right? And how to prepare for exam. That is the only guide I can provide you. But if you are, so again, if you are preparing for this as well, okay, the thing is like practical things are different. I have already given the exam, okay. I am already like data engineer on GCP professional exam. I have already given. So practical things are different, okay. But if you want to give this certification exam, you have to read a lot from GCP, okay. If you know practical, that is good, and you will be like able to crack the interviews as well. But from this point of view, you have to read another things also. Okay, so yes, that's it. So do you have
Yeah.
a question, Mamsi and
Yeah.
Vinny?
So thing is like here, let's say in the on-premises we are using Scala for the code creation and
Okay.
all. Yeah. So here it will be PySpark or mm,
PySpark we will be covering. The reason being, one of the reason is like Scala is altogether different language. Okay, and nowadays very few companies are using that, and Python is standard and easy to learn. Okay,
mm,
and intention of this course is to give you introduction or like exposure to GCP services, right, rather than learning the languages, right? Anyway, I'll be covering Python basics as well, okay, as SQL basics and Linux basics. But again, you know, right, Python or whatever languages you will be learning, that is vast, right? It is like never-ending process.
yeah.
Even if you talk about Scala, right? So whenever you will be creating new code, you will have to have some reference, right? Either on
Mm,
internet or somewhere else, right? So similar thing goes like it is your I would say skill how how fast you are learning the languages, right?
okay.
Yes, yes.
Then I think that's all from my end. Like we'll go through this
Mhm.
and we'll let you. Okay.
Correct, correct. Yes, Gautam will send you this particular document. You will get to know. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, yes. And we again, like we have tried to cover most of the things which are like even all of the things which are standard. Okay, and nowadays companies are using, most of the organizations are using these things. Okay, specifically with GCP, and
Mm,
even on other cloud also. Okay, the concept will remain same as I told you, right?
mm.
That is just a matter of different clouds.
Yeah, got it.
Yes,
Like recently, like any of your like students or like candidates like got placed in any of the companies based on GCP, like
so Gautam can more give you details on that, I believe.
okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
just wanted to know like what is the frequency of like people are placing in the Azure side or the GCP side? This thing.
So you mean to say after completion of classes, this
Not
course,
even after completion of class. Maybe like if by itself, if we complete the class, we should
general.
get placed. Like it is not that like just asking. Like
So yes, as I told you, right. So as you also know, right, there will be more openings for Azure. Okay,
hmm,
but again there will be more competition. Right,
hmm,
that is the thing. So if company wants one resource, there are 20 resources in the market. Right?
yeah,
So who they will put? On the other front, if company wants one resource, okay, for GCP there will be hardly 5 to 10 resources and not
hmm,
20. So in that manner, competition will be lesser. But again, like I don't want to give you wrong idea, but one more thing, okay. I am taking interviews nowadays and like I have seen, okay, people are master. Okay, so even interviewer and company will be confused. Okay, like they're out of let's suppose they are taking 5 interviews for one of the opening, right?
hmm,
Out of five, let's suppose four candidates are very strong. So even they are getting confused whom to take. So in that manner, you have to prepare well. Okay,
hmm,
so that is again like your skill, how hard you are trying, right, or reading things. And believe me, like even if I give interview today, okay, it is not necessary that on first interview I'll get passed, right? I also have to give multiple interviews, right, because IT market is keep on changing,
hmm, hmm,
and
hmm,
every new company is using some and other things here and there. Even if we talk about Spark, there are so many things right inside Spark
hmm,
which we may not cover in this, right? But ultimately people are using, right, some for some in the other scenario, maybe not in whole project but somewhere in the project. So they
Hmm.
tend to ask this question. So we have to be prepared for all the questions. That is the thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got it. I think that's enough. Like from your side as well. Like we'll think like and we'll discuss and we'll let you know for Gautam side. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure.
No. No. Yeah. Yeah. I'll let you know. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.